what's up, my friends out there in YouTube land? Rockin' Dave from North Fort Myers, Southwest Florida. On another rainy day down here in Florida, my friends. Welcome to Rockin' Ibanez and Rockin' Digitech. 149, 199. Something's rattling in there. Now taken over by Fisher Price. I give a damn as long as it works, right? Just having a little fun here. Just doing one of those, my friends. It's called a mugshot. And I gotta put the plug in on my sponsors. Called reality TV, my friends. It's the real deal. I really appreciate everyone tuning in. I really appreciate all our subscribers. We got new ones. Every single one of them. Every single one of you guys I appreciate. So I'm just here jamming, you know, blasting out with the old Ibanez guitar here. And, you know what I like about the Digitech products here? Let's see, we got some Adam, what's happening, my friend? Jim Dietrich, Guitar Hack, what's happening, my friend? Looks like we got eight people watching. Oh, Metal X, how you doing, my friends? Yeah, you got the Digitech. Jim Dietrich again, how's it going, buddy? You rock, my friend. Metal X, you got the, I think it's the RP355. I had that same unit. And somewhere I still have my RP500. Adam EVH, what's happening, my friends? And, so, yeah, you're familiar with the bass pattern that's inside this thing, you know? They call it player bass. It's just a really it's a low sub-octave. And with the built-in drum machine, and when you run it into a separate loop pedal, actually, this is my looping pedal I have. And actually I got 4 of these things. I always have a backup. And, so this is the spare RP. Actually, this is the first one. So that's the 360 XP. I got another one down here on the board. It's a great little unit. You know, there's going to be sounds in every effect unit that you're going to, you know, really not find any use for, you know. Jim Dietrich, how you doing, my friend? Good seeing you. Oh, yeah, Metal X. Yeah, I love that process. It's a great pedal. And you know what? I run mine through a powered PA speaker because of the drums and adding the bass. It only makes sense because you need that full range sound. Guitar Hack, how you doing, buddy? Good seeing you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, and then I get my 7-string. This is how I use a Digitech drop. Now you're probably saying, wow, this guy's in love with Digitech. No, it's just that stuff works. That's all. I do have the Boss ME70 pedal. And I do have somewhere floating around here the Boss ME. Ben Coombs, what's happening, my friends? The Boss ME50. And I do have, and I've got to bust this sucker out here, the old Korg AWX G's 1500 or something like that. So the big silver pedal. I still have that. So I mean, I got a lot of the, the effect processors. I still have some of my older pedals. What makes these units convenient is that you don't have you don't have a whole lot of little patch cables running through each other. I'll give you a really quick example. Let me go grab this real quick here without destroying anything, of course, because you know, all thumbs and all toes, you know what I mean? Anyways, you know, this is what I try to avoid, my friends. Not to say anything bad about anybody, but how would you like to have to go through at a gig, go through finding out which chord is all messed up in a setup like that? Good luck. You'll go through the whole show trying to find what the problem is. You don't understand. I got 412 cabinets. And this speaker is sent over to that system over there. Then I got one over there by the toilet and the men's room and over there. And I got one over here. Who cares? I'm not knocking it. I think some of the stuff, yeah, Metal X's, that sucks. I know what you're saying. Yeah, Ben. You know what? Ben comes, you're kind of like myself. Honestly, I like, a chord and into the amp, The convenience with some of the effects is what's in between to color the sound. And, the convenience to have these extra options. Just like a painter or a drawer, you want to have different colors. That's basically what it is. Of course I could play without it. It will alter your way of writing music. American Daredevil, how are you, my friend? Good seeing you. Give you one of those. I don't like to steal, but everyone does this. So I figure, a good friend of Tone King gives me one of those bad boys, so I'd rather do this because at least you get some guitars in the picture. Yeah. Now, in this picture, that was taken when we were still living up in Illinois. David Ibanez, how are you, my friend? Of course, we got this down here in Florida, and the lawsuit guitar we got down here in Florida. Um, that's this guy right here. It's got nothing to do with Ibanez. You know what? It's a Gibson Epiphone. Looks a lot like, and it apparently it is a USA made model. It is a neck through. This is a 1987-88 model, and they only made it to 1 year. But and it does resemble a Paul Reed Smith. But how many of you people out there, since I'm kind of talking about the Ibanez guitars, remember the Ibanez Musician? Back in 1978, I had the Ibanez Artist, and of course I had the catalog, which a long lost, long time ago. But this is a slightly arch top. Ibanez did have a model real similar to this style, called the Musician, and they had two versions. One was an arch top, and one was a flat top, and it was a neck through construction. So everyone gets ideas from everybody else. The old Hamer guitars. Look at the back of the Paul Reed Smith and the SE models, and find an old Hamer guitar. And where the neck and heel joint is, how Paul Reed Smith has that line? Well, when you look at an old Hamer guitar, you can see that exact same concept, So did Paul Reed Smith work for Hamer? I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, But, oh. Oh, okay, Alex, until 1989? You didn't even, okay. Yeah, here's the thing. I want to see if I could. I should have wrote in Q&A too, and I forgot to write it on the thing. Oh well. Dead ringer for Paul Reed Smith. Yeah, guitar hack. It is. It is. Gibson had that for 1 year, and I do remember being at the 1989 NAMM show when they still had him in Chicago. Excuse me, Chicago, Illinois, at the McCormick Place. See, it's like Illinois is leaving my mind, and now Florida is taking over, But anyways, I was at the 89 NAMM show, and I do remember looking at the Epiphone Les Paul models. And that was the first time I've seen them, because that's when they were coming out. And nowhere did they have this lawsuit guitar. And I do remember seeing them at the Guitar Shack guitar stores. Joe Wins, how you doing, my friend? Good evening from the open road. Hey, stay safe out there, brother. Last time I know you were stuck in traffic and there was a horrific accident, and it is August. I mean, at least when I look at the calendar, it's August. Now, people could be slipping, sliding in snow and ice, snow drifts, or they could be driving and they're doing this, I see it all the time. All the time. But yeah, you stay safe out there. And of course, always remember. So what I was saying is, always remember when you're in the open road, make sure you got somewhere to get rid of this. Not the company, Hey, R2 locking up what's happening, buddy. Good to see you, man. But every time you got a supersize, remember what goes in must come out. And if you're stuck in traffic, and boy, that leg will be shaking, man. Boy, you'll be like, man, you'll be jonesing to find the gas station or the 7-Eleven or whatever's near, you know. Now, we do get a lot, it is stormy season, and we are approaching hurricane season, but so far so good, and the weather reporters are saying we might have a mild hurricane season. Thank God, because boy, I'll tell you what, nothing worse than your first month relocating somewhere, and here comes Mother Nature, national disaster. The hurricane is bigger than the entire state. Boy, it's gonna move in on you. That was some scary stuff, man. Okay, so talking about this guitar, and I got a video up. I just put up. Was it Rockin' Blues Monday or something like that? Very forgetful sometimes. Let's see. Everyone's communicating with each other out there, which I think is great, man. This is a great platform. So on the Gibson Les Paul, I've got it has its regular Gibson sound with the humbuckers, double coils, and then I can do the coil tapping, but I can do the out of phase. My old Ibanez Artist, and I know the reissue Ibanez Artist will have the little tri-sound switches. Or I don't. You know what? If there's anybody out there that has the let's see, the reissue of the Ibanez Artist. If there's anyone out there, let me know if those switches are still like three-way. Because on the original ones, you had your toggle switch, and you had two of these black little tri-sound switches, and they were three ways, and they were for each pickup. I had the Super 88 pickups, what some people would call it the flying fingers, because it was like a hand like this, or maybe like that, and it had butterfly wings. It was engraved into the pickup. And you were able to get like the out of phase, all kind of sounds out of that thing, Oh, Les Paul traditional T is basically a 58 with baseball neck and fit. Oh, nice, old man Dan. Good seeing you, buddy. Deb says hi to you too, David. Yeah, the neck on my Gibson is really we call it like a 1960s profile, a thin. It's almost like a low profile. Now the neck on my Epiphone, I'll one of these days bust out my wide Epiphone Les Paul studio model. That thing's a workhorse too, man. Great guitar. It's got more of the 1950s big chunky necks, and actually, that's how my Ibanez Artist was when I had it, and of course, when I bought it used in like 1979. Could be 1979, 1980 with my first good amplifier, the Crate 1R. R stood for reverb, and I didn't know what that was, and it wasn't working, nor did I care, And it was shaped like a crate box. And this was, again, I'd say back in like 1979. I had the crate amp before I had the Ibanez guitar, because I graduated from the cheap Checkmate electric guitar, pawn shop guitar, to a Magnum Les Paul copy that, was kind of hollowed in between the pickups, hollowing and whistling and feedback. And then I bought the used Ibanez Artist. And that guitar was made in Japan. And here's an interesting story. Back then, if you go to buy any of those guitars back then, everyone would say, "Oh, that's junk. That's made in Japan. That's junk. That's made in Japan. That's junk. That's made in Japan." Now that guitar is. I saw a guy talking about it. It's worth anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000, but it's junk because it's made in Japan. You see what I mean? So I guess and I know a lot of you guys and gals that are out there watching. You're probably saying, Dave, I got 10 years on you, and boy, I still have my Sears Silvertone back in the day, and I'm not getting rid of that. And you're smart. Don't get rid of anything if you don't have to. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thanks, R2R3 locking up. I got so many videos up. and again with so many different styles that I play, and yeah, that could have been when I was playing the Gibson outside, and I think I literally tiled at La Corte because that's where I was playing at, the restaurant where I play at. Plus, I did put something up when I was down here at the Barrel Room downtown Fort Myers. And there's a couple other videos I have to look at. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Okay, I'm all palm and small fingers. Guitar Hack says Ben, my Kramer. Oh yeah, that's interesting, Ben. Your Kramer is getting worked on tonight, I think. You know what, Ben? I think you did mention something about that. Hey, Mitch Heyman, how are you? Good talking to you, man. Good seeing you. I think you did mention something about what's going on with your Kramer, and I thought you said something pertaining to maybe the pole pieces getting a little bit rusted out. And it's going to happen if you're sweating, and you guys have been experiencing some pretty hot temperatures up there in Canada. And it's going to happen when you're playing a lot. You're burning up a lot of energy, so naturally you're going to sweat. And then if it's hot, you're going to sweat on top of that. And then the humidity, it's going to get worse. So it happens. I had a guitar student that he would sweat even in wintertime. Now that sometimes it happens to me. And yeah, he used to go through the saddles on his guitar. He would have to always upgrade them. Oh, it's upgrading the volume pot. Yeah. Jason Wade, how you doing, my friend? Good seeing you, buddy. Now, this particular guitar, I'm more and more getting comfortable with the fact that this has 9-gauge strings on it. And it is very difficult for me to kind of get used to that because my picking hand, I'm not really big into sweeping. I'll do some of it, but because I do a lot of stuff that's also kind of acoustic oriented, from kind of in the style of flamenco, fusion, jazz, classical, and that. My picking hand has to. You can't do legato with classical guitar. There is a piece which I cannot pronounce. Classical guitarist Pepe Romero is doing it. It's almost like a Malagueña, but it's got really fast runs. But you got to have very strong hands. And when the classical guitarists will play like that, they'll have it mic'd because they do not plug in. And I know for a fact, Pepe Romero, I've read a lot of articles, seen a lot of stuff he's talked about on YouTube. He's old school. He doesn't believe in plugging a guitar in. And which I know it sounds crazy for some, but it is a different world, totally different world. But the reason why there's two reasons why for me personally, I'm a huge fan of alternate picking. One is the guitar player. One of the guitarists that really influenced me, probably more than anybody, as far as technique, finesse, speed, and melody, is Al Di Meola, jazz fusion guitarist Al Di Meola. And when I heard that guy, man, whoa! I knew it was not hammer-ons and pull-offs. It was a lot of this. Lot of alternate picking, especially on the acoustic guitar. And when you do anything acoustically and you want those notes to really pop out, you got to have this together, because otherwise it's not going to happen. But it doesn't mean you won't be a good guitar player, Michael Bishop, how you doing, my friend? Speed is like icing on a cake. And, for me personally, like a lot of you out there, oh, you like the alternate picking, Metal X? Yeah, it's guitar. Al, yeah, he has insane chops. Al Di Meola, oh my god. especially back in the heyday. And I was fortunate enough to see him live in 1982 when he was just finishing up. He was touring with his band. Um, they just got done recording Electric Rendezvous, and they were doing a lot of the stuff from the Elegant Gypsy Casino album, and I mean it was jazz fusion. And people say jazz, you think, oh, and horns that. No, this was amped up, totally kick ass playing, man. And then I seen him that following year twice, once with Return to Forever, which was another, that's where he came from, out of that band Return to Forever, with Chick Corea, Stanley Clark, and Lenny White, totally kick ass. And then the same year, during the summertime, or end of fall, or whenever it was, uh, with the Super Trio, with Paco de Lucia and John McLaughlin, and he had a guest guitarist, Steve Morse, which I definitely knew about Steve Morse and Dixie Dregs. But when you see him on the acoustic, man, holy crap! Especially the earlier videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. But again, there's a lot of strong melody and all that too, and I think that's the balance. I think like a lot of you guys out there, let's see, I'm limited with picking, also picking. You know what? It doesn't. Sean Zimmerman, how you doing, my friend? Good seeing you. You know, Guitar Hack. I personally, some people call it cheating, and when I was younger, developing my technique, I mean, I used to go, man, I had a horrible picking technique, and I was like 6 years into my playing, and I had to break that habit. And boy, you want to talk about just, losing your cool, man. Holy crap. I was very hot-headed when I was younger. The song is actually 1,000 years. You know, okay, Ben, I think you're talking about a song called actually 1,000 Years. There is a video, if you're talking about the same song that I think you're talking about. And I forget what movie it was. I had to take that song and play it for a wedding. And I had to do it acoustically, and I had to just kind of find where I could get the main melody. Because wedding gigs are totally different, man. You got to get to the main melody, cut through the chase, get right to the point, and you have to rearrange it. You have to play it with an incredibly amount of depth and emotion, because you want a guaranteed gig, or a gig where they're guaranteed that they're listening to you playing, just like as if everybody is blind and they have to rely on this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, Ben Coombs, you're playing at Rich's wedding. So you know exactly what I'm talking. You know exactly where I'm coming from, yeah. And especially if you're going to play it instrumental. You have to find that vocal melody. Sometimes you got to add a little bit to it, because some people sing a little bit on the monotone side, but not that particular song, though. And, but anyways, yeah, when you do anything like that, and if you have to do it like acoustically or a classically guitar style, you got to put a lot of emotion to it. And even with electric guitar, this is where you have to learn, if you could do an electric guitar, you have to learn what kind of an overdrive or distortion works, See if I can. I'm not going to remember it because I haven't played it in a while. And of course, stupid me wants to try to do it live, Da 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 da. Anyways, when you're doing it instrumentally, you have to understand how to make this. If this is what you play, this is the singer right here, and this is where when you slide into something, Now I'm gonna make up a generic melody for the sake of not wasting a lot of time here. Now, that's nowhere near the song, but it's kind of like in my head. But anyways, I had to play that, and I had to play it with a lot of finesse. And when you do these type of gigs, I'm telling you, If you ever want to do a gig where you know people are going to be paying attention, do a wedding gig, especially a ceremony. Because even if you could DJ or play live and DJ, you know what I mean? We've done that. Live guitarists with DJ, you know. What happens is it's party time, it's drinking time, it's people eating time, it's people, not even paying attention to you. But when it comes down to that ceremony, boom, that right there. And the music is going to depict the scenery. So if a person ever wanted to get into playing stuff like for motion pictures, you know what I mean? You don't have to necessarily do this with a wedding. Now, you could sit in your room or your house and take a look outside and try what you see. Try to paint the picture with sound, what you see. And right there, you see this kind of connection, how music has a lot of depth, a lot of emotion to it. But the weddings, really, you do have to. That's where you got to kind of step up, because it's quiet, man. You can hear a pin drop on the grass. There's a lot of weddings are outside. Now, Ben, I know you said you're doing this at Rich's wedding. Is it an indoor wedding or is it going to be an outdoor wedding? Because there's certain things to keep in mind, which I'm sure you do know of. If you're going to do it outdoors, and you can do it with the electric guitar. Yeah, no pressure, laugh out loud, right? After a while, and I was, going through the same thing, because when you don't do a whole lot of those gigs, it's like you're going to play music, you really don't, it's outdoor. I'll be using an acoustic amp. Okay, so you're using your acoustic guitar and an amp. Or maybe, sometimes you could use the acoustic amp and your electric guitar and going through the auxiliary input. But what I was going to say is that make sure that there's power, because this has happened to me quite a few times. Whoever's doing the coordinating, at some of these weddings you got a wedding coordinator, and she's got to take care of the flower girl, then the caterer, or then the photographer, then the chairs, and the last thing on her mind is the guitar player needs power, he needs to plug in. And I've been in situations, man, that they'll move stuff. Oh, using my Epiphone jumbo body acoustic. Okay. So, all right. Back. Okay. So, Ben, you're using your jumbo acoustic. Your Epiphone jumbo body acoustic. And I thought you just said you're going to be using an acoustic amp. Okay. If it's an acoustic amp, if it's a Roland, or if it's any other brand, I do know Roland does make acoustic amps that you could slap AA batteries in. Yes. And that's great, when we first did our first DJ wedding gig, we did it for one of our friends, and we comped it, the whole thing, only because we wanted to make sure that our sound system and our concept for the DJ live guitars would work. And he was like, really, you can do this for free? And we says, yeah, because we don't want to use the term, we're going to use you as a guinea pig, but basically that's what it was. But he had enough faith in me, because he knew that I've been experienced playing out, so I'm not going to hack up his wedding. Oh, the amp is my PV. Oh, okay, the Viper's great amp. Sounds great. That's awesome. Make sure, and I don't mean to tell you what to do, Ben, because I know your experience. I never like to say, I've been in these situations where I always want to make sure I got a backup system, because all of a sudden we don't have any power. Now you got to do everything truly acoustically, and you're outside, and this literally happened to me. I have a Carvin StageMate. It's a battery-powered PA system, but it takes one of those big block batteries. And this is why we moved over to the Roland products, as far as their powered battery-operated speakers. Because literally, right there at this wedding gig, the bride had a long distance to walk down. And it's outside. If there's no power, I'll strum the hell out of it. Yeah. I'm checking out some of the. Oh no, yeah, Metal X. That's cool, Metal X. Yeah. You know what, Metal X? I'm gonna touch on that real quick. You're smart because there's something going on with these covers, and it's been happening to me. And I personally think the catch-22 of your videos getting shut down. Now I'm gonna say use myself as an example. I don't want to see anyone else this happen to. If they want to do this to me, that's fine. Where it's the catch-22 in my favor. If BMI, ASCAP, and all these other ones says, boy, we know where you're at. Because I am a member of BMI, because I do have original music out there. And our company, Transacoustic Productions Incorporated, is registered. So, this is what's cool. Guitar Hacks is played hard like Pete Townsend, yeah. Um, as far as the acoustic number, if the power goes out. But getting back to what Metal X said about not doing so much covers, it's bombarded out there. It's totally bombarded out there. And what has been happening to me lately is I put something up and I'm saying, hey, Dave, we gotta watch this. But, and people will say, well, yeah, but Dave, that's just on the internet. No, it's not just at the internet. Before we left Illinois, one of the last gigs we did, the lady that owns the place asked me if I have original material. I said, well, yeah, I got original material. And she said, good, because there was a member from BMI sitting here. She said, I didn't know who this guy was. He's sitting eating in my restaurant, looking around, sees flyers. Oh, you got live entertainment here. Yeah. Are you paying what you're supposed to be paying? I forget exactly what they call it, but I know what it is. And she's like, what do you mean? He said, you got to have the rights. You have to pay performance rights, whatever they want, whatever term they want to use, because today it's one, yesterday it's one term, today it's another term, tomorrow it gets changed. The point is, they're watching. So she says to me, so, okay, I told the guy, okay, well, let me look into that. So it's kind of like getting, when you get a speeding ticket, first you get the warning, and then you get the follow-up. Well, he happened to be giving her the warning, but he did a follow-up call. And she said to me, Dave, I had to lie to this guy and tell him I don't have music here anymore. So please, could you play some originals? Because I don't want to be paying all this money for these songs. My overhead is enough. I got high overhead enough as it is. And then with property taxes and/or rent, you know, it's just like one expense after another expense after another expense, and this is what's going on. Okay, guys. Actually, real quick, do I look like, Max Headroom? If you remember Max Headroom, all digital, and, I got an eyeball over here and, a left ear over there. I don't know if it's the picture. On my phone, it looks like it's good, but, I know, right? It's the only way I could describe things. Okay, Guitar Hack. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, guys, I think part of what it is, and correct me if I'm wrong, or if you have friends that also, have CDs and/or they incorporated their music company. They turned themselves into a music company, where you do have a federal tax ID number in that. I think what happens when you do that transition, now you are saying you're a record company or you're a record label, you have this artist, this is who you are in business to make money. Now, when you add that into the equation, they're going to expect you, because now you're saying basically to them, you're one of them, you're the big shot, right? Okay, now pay up. So it would not surprise me if that's one of the reasons why I seem to be getting this, because they do know my stuff is our personal stuff that we have written. We have it copyrighted. We didn't send it in the mail and wait for it to come back. Yeah, it's copyrighted. No, it's actually registered. You get a registration form, you get a number, and all that, so no one can steal it. And I agree with our good friend out there, Joe Winch Project. I agree with him 100% when he said, what is it going to... We're just trying to honor what are the people we look up to. We love playing this music, and it inspired us. This is how we learned, and, it brings back the days when we were kids. And the first time you saw the electric guitar, it was like your eyeballs got real big. It's like, wow, this is so cool. And you really looked up. Those were your heroes, you know. Now your heroes are coming and they're going to take you to court. You cannot play my music or I'm going to sue the pants off you and everything else you have, you know. I'm going to take the family down too while I'm at it, you know. And to be honest, a lot of times it's not necessarily the artist, it's whoever has the rights to it. And it's because the music industry took a huge dive and everybody wanted stuff for free, and okay, so everyone loses money and they gotta recoup it. Because think about it, your lifestyle that you live right now, would you be willing to go below that lifestyle? So in other words, if you got a brand new car, would you be willing to get rid of that brand new car and, you know, go to the local um, a used car lot that has, at nighttime they let the dogs out? You know what I mean? It's fenced in, the dogs run all loose, the guard dogs, and you get the you know, maybe a 1987 old you know, Delta 88 or something. So in other words, you just get rid of your brand new. Let's say if you got a 2016, you know, Toyota Rav, and you love that car, but because you want to prove you could live below your means. Now, I'm not trying to knock anybody, but my point is, these people that are established themselves now, they got to have that income, because to stay that steady stream of income to afford that lifestyle, it costs money. So with the music industry, it went down the toilet. You know, Michael Anthony from Van Halen, we met him down at in Cabo San Lucas when we were down there, and we had a good chance of really talking with him. And he said, he was telling us, the smart ones back in the '80s, we invested our money because the party, we knew the party was not going to last, and that's why they invested their money. So, and at that time, I was auditioning for Trans Siberian Orchestra, and Alex Skolnick was going to go. He was going to go on tour with Testament, but I think the lead singer, he got real sick. There was something like that going on. My wife saw the little tiny ad in Guitar Player magazine. I mean, you had to get the magnifying glass, so we thought, oh, maybe it's, you know, BS, but no, it wasn't. It was legit. And we sent them all the promo material, and you know, told them I would know what my place would be. So you're the boss. How much was it going to cost for us to go out on the road? These are things you got to look at, man, because you get an opportunity to join your favorite band and go on a tour. Make sure you got money, because you're going to need that money to float yourself out on that tour. It's like a construction job. At the end, your payout is at the end. You know, that's just how it is. I'll do the Zeppelin. Oh, you know what? Let's see. And Ben Coombs, I want to get back into talking about with the amp. Yeah. No Max Headroom. Thanks. Thanks, Archer. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, let's see. Absolute mayhem. What's happening, my friend? This is going to be very. Uh, a lot of clubs closed for showcasing these bands here. Yeah. Yeah. Ben, I see you're back. I know laundry. Yeah, you know what? Everyone does laundry, my friend. You know, when you get these people, well, I'll hire a nanny. Okay, you must be filthy stinking rich. No, I give her, you know, I buy her a beer and that. Then you better watch when you're at work or you're away. Hide everything, my friends, because you're gonna come back and she's gonna clean house, and not the way you'd want, not the way that you would want her to clean house. You know what I mean? No, R2 R3's got a good point about a lot of the clubs closing. There used to be a club called Bada Brew, Crest Hill. We used to play there. Crest Hill's by Joliet. They closed. You know, everything is like closing, closing, closing. Um, I know you can. You know, there's got to be, because when we got contacted for doing these covers, storm rolling through. Okay, Metal X, where exactly do you live? Because down here in Florida we get storms. Someone, if you're like in the Florida, you know, anywhere here down here in Florida. Um, but yeah, but getting back to what you were saying, R2 R3, I do know you can. do some sort of payoff. Okay, and I do know YouTube said that they would send me a list, or they would provide me where I could go find a list of cover songs that I can play legally. Um, and okay, I guess I could do that until whoever's on that list decides, well, you know what, I'm losing money, so guess what, zap, and it's like you could be in the middle of a song, and if they change their mind, and you know how it is when you get to gigs, you make the phone call on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday to get maybe there's an opening, a band canceled, or I get this a lot. The club owner calls me, Dave, could you make it here on 2 days? The band canceled. Okay. Um, Within that time period, if they decide, I love Fort Myers, Sanibel area though. Oh, I wonder, Metal X. Oh, Sanibel area, tough. Yeah. Oh yeah, it is, man. Yeah, you see, so, um, they could pick and choose. And honestly, me personally, what I was going to say earlier, it really doesn't bother me because I really would rather write my own music and go out and play my own music. That's why I'm going to do covers. That's why I would have a hard time being in an absolute tribute band. Not that I couldn't. It's just every time I sit down, the things that inspire me is I look at the fretboard and I get, and I'm sure this happens to you guys as well. You mess around with the sound. You could be anything like. And it'll remind you of something else. But what happens with me is I get locked in that rhythm, and I don't see where I could take that rhythm, and then melodies and solos where I could put to that. I get very creative real fast. And whether a person, if they like what I'm doing, if they don't, that doesn't bother me. But the point is, this is what goes on in my head. So personally, I would rather just do all originals, and I think it's something that's needed because everybody out there is hearing so much of the covers. Now, what I will say about the covers, it keeps that music alive, you know. And what is nice with nowadays, you got all these young kids, have you ever heard this? This happened to me when I was teaching in Illinois. I get these young kids, Dave, did you ever hear of this song, Smoke Over the Water? And I tell my, little students, and I know he meant smoke on the water, but, he's young, he don't know. And then he tried to show me that, he'd take his little finger and go, I think it's like this, but I knew what he was meaning. And I would play into it and say, I don't think I ever heard that. Wait a minute. Maybe I heard the song somewhere, and of course I'd, get into it. And his eyes would light up. So the point is with the covers, it does introduce it to, a younger generation and keeps it going. So, if I ever get fortunate enough when people start doing covers of my stuff, I'm not going to be a jerk about it. And, unless I, this is the catch-22. When you become a business, and then my wife and I, we sit down at the table. We all need to make money. We understand that. Then if you get a third party, now you got three people. Then you get a fourth person in, and what happens is you got a whole group of people, and they need to get paid. So it kind of changed the platform out there. And I know that might sound crazy, but when my wife put up that video of a perfect analysis. Comparing a business that has, construction business that's got employees, that's got product, to a band being signed with, product, the music, the employees, the musicians are the employees. When it comes down to the meat and potatoes of everything, the nitty gritty, they are identical. It's just two different types of businesses. But when you got money transaction coming in and coming out, it's basically the same thing. And that's the problem. And because music, has been taken advantage of and free, it's been hurting people big time. So, I know it's kind of a long tangent story, and I'm going to touch a little bit on this because some of the stuff I've been seeing on YouTube, and a lot of it's not bad, it's another perception of it. But rewinding and get back to the wedding gigs, Ben, When I had my Carvin and the battery went out, thank God. And before the actual ceremony started, it looked like a scene out of Caddyshack because it was literally country club and golf course. So there were people out there playing golf. You hear the ball, you know, and then a jet plane flies over, and you get all this ambient noise. And I'm thinking, well, it's a good thing I've got everything plugged in that, and the bride's, at the top of this hill. She's getting ready to come down, and I'm playing my nylon string guitar. I think I had to play "Here Comes the Sun," and the battery was going out, and I'm like, oh crap! So I had to play that song harder, but yet elegant. And if anyone's played a nylon string guitar, you pop those strings. It could be done, but it sounds like funk. Here comes Bootsy Collins and the Funkadelics. But at the same time, I had to have it remain very, very elegant. And thank God that I had a nice cool breeze coming from behind me, helping blowing the sound up. And she didn't even notice there was a problem. But what it did for us is it made us realize, okay, we need battery-powered speakers because we never know what situation we're going to be in. But we need battery-powered speakers that if the battery goes dead, I could go across the street, there's a Walgreens. Walgreens is not going to carry Carvin products. Walgreens is not going to carry Hughes and Kettner. Walgreens is going to carry aspirins, Bud Light, Snickers, and everything else except music gear, right? But they do have AA batteries, and thank God the people at Roland thought this out. It's okay, let's make some of our amplifiers so it can handle batteries. I still have two of my our Boss loop stations. They'll take the AA batteries. The ME products, ME70, ME50, the ME80 will take batteries. And I ran this idea to Mark, who is the CEO and owner of Victoria Amplifiers. Buddy Guy was one of the endorsees of Victoria, not Victory, but Victoria Amplifiers. I was one of the judges at Guitar Center's King of the Blues, and I'm sitting next to Mark, and we're talking, and I told Mark, I says, Mark, I love your amps. They sound great, and there's nothing will beat a tube amp for that nice, clean, like that Fender sound. I just absolutely love it. And I love the sound of the Marshall, that punchy sound, But I said, Mark, there's another market out there, and there's a lot of people like myself, we have to do crossover styles to make ends meet, to make money come in. So I said, Mark, one of the styles of music that I have to play, and one of the gigs I have to play is, besides the corporate gigs, are these weddings. And even on some of the corporate gigs, if they're going to have an awards ceremony, and they want to go outside, and there's all these trees and the scenery, and it's beautiful, right? Some places will have power, because they're starting to get the idea, well, we're going to have the floodlights and all that, but some places don't. And even if they do have power, sometimes the power is not working. That's when you're kind of screwed, because you're the entertainment. And even though it appears on corporate gigs they don't listen, trust me, they do, because if you're not playing, they're looking at you like, hey, I'm paying you, X amount of dollars here, and I'm not hearing anything. Are you passed out or something? Are you drinking? Or, you know what I mean? So they want to make sure you're working. And with the battery-powered equipment out there, you get through it. You'll get the gig, and you'll get through it. That's why I wish Digitech had their stuff battery-powered. Now, I know Sanyo. This was a few years ago. They had like this little flat brick. It looked like a how can I say? It almost looked like an iPhone, but it was a battery recharger. It was almost like a capacitor, really basically what it was, And you could power up your pedals, and you got something like 11 hours of it was called pedal juice, I think it was. And Bumblebest, how you doing? Thank you for joining, man. And I know the Tone King, just over the summer, was talking about power supplies, and he mentioned a couple of different brands, but it's the same concept, where you could, juice it up, and of course you got to look at your milliamps, make sure that it'll take it. Does the Helix have battery support? You know what? I don't think it does. I don't think it does. JJ House of Jams, he has a Helix. He would definitely know how to answer that question. But my educated guess, that has got such a powerful sound engine that it needs to be plugged in. Like the Roland products will have it. But when you get into like the GT10, the GT100, the GT 1000, and the GR55 and 33 guitar synthesizers, which we have those, there you have to plug them in. There's no battery power because I think it takes such strong amp draw, so it won't work too too good with the batteries. But it's or unless you just get a battery. I looked into with this too, trying to just get not a gas generator but a battery powered generator. Uh, oh yeah, oh, you text JJ, he's in Cabo. Yes, we've been down there and likely not sober. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. And I wish I would have took pictures, and I forgot to. We're in, Sammy Hagar's Cabo Wabo. And of course, you're trying to get tickets. It was his birthday. He always has his birthday. But the parking lot that's out there, right out in front, they take the wall that's right there, and they broadcast the concert for free. So when he announced, he says, "Hey man, I hope you guys didn't pay for tickets here because even though we have a limited capacity of how many people we could legally have in the establishment, for those who couldn't make it in, we're broadcasting it right on the wall." And there it was, like a giant screen TV. Yeah, but Cabo Wabo, we go in there. So we're in there, and they got like 4 different bars, and there's the stage. Nice place, man. You get a chance to go down there, you got to check it out. And getting down there, man, it was a trip because you go through some of these. I mean, it's literally a dirt road. You walk through it. That's because it's in Mexico. And we were at the Malaya San Lucas. I don't have the CD available with me right now, but one of my CDs called Malaya. The front and the back and the insert is all pictures with my guitar at that hotel because we were there, and I played at the hotel. We were there like 8 hours. Well, we were there for the whole weekend or a few days. I can't remember exactly how much, but I remember playing in the lobby with this piano player for like 8 hours, man. And then I'm playing poolside with the locals, and the locals were like, "Yeah, check out Gringo," But they didn't know how well I could play Latin style guitar. So I let them, and they were really cool people. They didn't mean any harm and anything. But I always go along with it. I tell them, I'm Gringo Star. And when I was playing with them, they were off to the side, and I'm over here, and they could hear what I was doing. And in the pool was Michael Anthony from Van Halen, and there's my wife and all our friends, and they're all hanging out with Michael Anthony. I'm like, check this out, man. This is badass. But inside of Cabo Wabo, I was getting hungry. So I guess Deb says, "Yeah, why don't you see if the bar's got some peanuts?" Okay, and I go up to the bar. I'm looking, and of course my hair was a lot longer back then. And I thought, when my hair in my eyes, no, it's all these bras hanging. I mean, like hundreds of them in each bar. So yeah, it's a cool place, man. And Sammy Hagar is a cool, down to earth guy, man. But yeah, Ben. It's good. You're gonna have a good time playing at your friend at Richie's wedding, man. It's a blast, especially when you're doing it for friends. Now, I've done it where it's more like a heavy metal type of wedding. I've done a goth metal wedding. I had my Beastie Rich Warlock, and that was really cool, man. That was really really cool. So I've been in all different type of situations, and you never know what to expect at these type of gigs. But now, getting back to what I was saying with the covers and the clubs out there, R2, R3 said some of the clubs are closing in Chicago. There could definitely be 2 factors in this one. The smoking ban killed everything. The DUI laws, a lot of people like myself and Joe Winch and a few out there have a CDL license. And even in your car, that's your license. So you better not be drinking and you blow, and it's a big ding on your license. And that part of it killed some of the local scene because people says, "Oh, if I can't smoke and drink, I can't smoke, and I gotta watch what I drink because the cops will be watching the places." And I think R2, you said this earlier, and I know exactly what you're talking about because I've seen it. I've seen it where they sit there You know, with the lights off and you can hear the car revving, you know what I mean? They're watching, just waiting to bust people. Uh, so that has had a huge effect on the live scene, and in part closing, the clubs closing, and with the copyright infringements, you know, club owners, they already have enough overhead. They don't need any more. They don't want. And I've had a couple of club owners down here in Florida talk to me about this too. And they don't want to be paying all that, you know. It's nuts. Then what happens? They pay that. Then the musicians pay at $100 per person goes down to 75, 55, 35, 20. How about you play for free? Exposure. Yes, someone's going to discover you. Let me ask you guys something. In an economy, in a industry that is hurting already, the music is hurting. Okay, it's not gonna go away, but it's going through, you know, growing pains to adapt to this turn of the century and what's going on now. It's hurting. So, how are you gonna get discovered if a company is already kind of almost belly up? How is a company that's almost belly up, you know, they're going down? How are they going to float your boat if they can't float their own? This is why I would always say, have that backup plan. Be smart about it. You know, you never feel ashamed because you have to have some sort of a backup system. Because boy, I'm telling you, man, from experience, you know, there's a lot of advice out there, and a lot of it is good advice. And for those people that are able to float that boat, God bless them. I hope you never have to go through any hardship. But always remember, anything, and I do mean anything, could happen out there. And I guess I might as well, you know, touch a little bit on this because it's going down here, and you know, it's everywhere. But and I know it's making national news because I've already talked to some people about it. Matter of fact, when I was at the restaurant last week playing, there was a table, and there's a lady that she works for a travel agency company, and the lady, her friends up in Pennsylvania, gets on the phone. Hey, we want to come down here to Florida, but we heard about this problem with the algae and everything, you know? So it's making news everywhere. This is what you got to be prepared for. If you're a musician, entertainer, but let's keep it as music because that's, you know, we're all guitar fans. And you are just so hell-bent that you're going to make this work. You don't need a side job. You don't need no backup plan. You don't need that spare tire. It's go, go, go all the way. You got to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what would happen if I go to a tourist state, because that's basically what Florida is, and something happens in that tourist state that could dampen that tourist season, okay? Meaning, what we think we're going to have a busy season, now we might have a slow season, to the point where waitresses are being interviewed on the news because their tips are half and a little less than half. And it's nothing that has to do with the music. It happens to be something's going on, or, you know, there's, you know, if you're in an area that, let's say they have, you know, nuclear power generators, you know, but the clubs are so far away, but the clubs rely on the big tourism, right? It's a tourist state. And then there's word out that there's nuclear power plant leaking, and then the people want to come down on vacation, said, oh, I'm not going over there because I might get cancer. What it does, it literally will take that busy season and shrink it. Now what are you going to do? You gotta, people have got to see reality, and I don't mean to harp on it so much, but well, I'm telling you, we might not have much of a busy season down here, and I love it down here, but we're prepared for it. We have the backup plan. Never, if anyone asks me my advice, and I'm not Mr. Experience and Mr. Know-It-All, but I do have some experience, okay, and I would say, never walk in any situation blindfolded thinking that you got the world by the balls. Never think that way, because you're going to find out real fast the world's got you by the balls, and it's going to tell you what's going to be going down. And if you don't have that backup system, watch and see the panic button being hit. Holy crap. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna pay my bills? Everyone's got bills to pay, you know. But it doesn't mean that it's not. None of this is meant to discourage people from playing. This is, man, money cannot buy talent. It's a gift from Almighty God. He gives it to you. He can take it away. You know, and it's just such a great feeling, making those breakthroughs when you play music. You know, there's nothing like it. Yeah, you know, everyone has a home studio now, which seems odd that it can be done. Yeah. Now, and then it's Bumblebest. That's a good point. Ah, Sean Murphy, how you doing, my friend? Let's see if I catch up on these. Yeah, getting signed is basically like it was in the 50s. Oh, Ben, there's this thing called the 360 deal out there. And what that means, you know what a 360 is, right? One big circle. And I don't care how pretty a person wants to paint that picture. That's nice. I understand. If a company that's going to sign you is going to pull money out of their pocket, of course they have to see a return on their investment. Of course they do. You know, that goes without saying. But when the percentage rating is they're 99.999%, and you got so many, you have a decimal point followed by a lot of zeros and maybe a one behind that. That means you ain't making anything. Now, I'm not saying, you know, hey, if you're going to negotiate a contract, a smart person is going to think this way. They want to make sure they make money. All right, I understand you need to make money. I need to make money. How about 50-50? Let's start there. Like when you go to sell something, right? Let's say, you know, you pay, let's say, $300 for this, you know, but you want to sell it, and it's slightly used, so you're willing to take a hit on it. So, okay, I just bought this, a few months ago. I want to sell this. How about this? $379 or best offer. Well, you said you paid $399 for it. Well, yeah, let's start from there and let's negotiate. So you're gonna get what you want, but I'm gonna get what I want as well. So I mean, I understand that, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of this deal with the 360 deal. My wife and I often talk about this, and I remember when we sat down with our attorney when we were incorporating our music company, and we started talking about this, and they were all agreeing, and they were saying they're a lot smarter on this than I am. And they were saying, you always want to negotiate. Don't sign that first contract. They give you that contract, you sign it, you're screwed. Negotiate that contract. And if the company really is good, and they're smart that they didn't quit their day jobs to float this boat, they're how can I say, they are not the type that they're too good to go out and get a day job to support their business, their love, their passion. So therefore, they could kind of negotiate in your favor. Not many companies do that. Maybe they are. I don't know, but I do know that negotiation process is important. And if they like you, they're gonna see you're a smart person, and if they see that they're gonna do what they can to be honest up front and lay the cards on the table, chances are you as that employee, because when you get signed, you're not. Hey, the rock star thing is fun and that, but the reality is you are their employee. They're the boss. You're the employer. You go out and play. You make me money. That's the name of the game. That is the name of the game. And if they take care of you, you will want to help take care of them, because you're going to see fairness. You're not going to see anything else. You know what I mean? But that's what this 360 deal is. You got to watch these things, and didn't mean to go so much on a tangent on that, but yep. Sean Murphy says, Hailstorm. I know about Hailstorm. We're a bar rescue TV show. Oh, we're on a bar TV rescue show and got signed following week. And that's great. And sometimes these things do happen. So, it's not all doom and gloom out there. It really isn't, Some people some people you can tell when they're genuine and they really love the deal and it's working out great, because even if something were to happen that the company kind of, all right, they run out of money, or they say, okay, our contract is up, and we want to go through, we want to change, we want to try something new, and if the musicians are cool with it, and the company, they got to do restructuring and different style of music. The musicians, if they're cool, will say, well, you know what, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to be signed with you. So now that you cut the ties, you're not tied with them, you'll know if that company was good, because the musicians will still say good things about that company. So it's kind of like when your boss fires you, get out of here. And then right away, now you don't have ties with that boss anymore. And if they really were treating you bad, you could warn other people, watch this guy because he doesn't know what he's doing. Now you could, kind of say that, the forewarning out there, if that makes sense. Okay, everyone has a home studio. Yeah, and you know what? Bumble Bass, this started for us consumers with the Tascam, the Portal One, and other, Fostex, they had theirs. And what has happened is that people of our age that come from that era, we're used to, remember punch in, remember when you go to a recording studio and you pay for it, it'll say that includes lockout. A lot of people have never heard this term lockout. What it would do is, at least one of the studios by us in Chicago, what that term meant is that, okay, you're in the mix down process, but guess what, you ran out of time for that day. All right, we'll have to come back tomorrow at this time, but before you get in there, there's other bands. They would have other control and recorders and mixers, because you already paid for that, so everything is locked in place. You're not going to get tonal differences, because there's nothing worse than you start adjusting things for another band that has a different style. They leave, and then let's say 15 minutes after they leave, you come back in. Now you got to reset everything. Oh crap, I didn't write down the EQ settings. What am I going to do? Now you got to listen back and try to match things. That's the era we come from, But now it's just such a great thing with, the home studios. Hey, Guitar Hack, yeah, no, don't fear it. You know what I mean? I don't, that's an interesting comment. Guitar Hack says, no fear of being signed here. I don't want to say I don't really fear it. If I do, that's fine. If I don't, I'm moving forward anyway, What happens, I guess what's happened to me, I got so used of being in control of what I want to do. And I don't have any problems, working with other people and, seeing what their perspective is. And okay, yeah, now I look back and, yeah, I think you got a good point there, and saying stuff like that. But I do know that once you get signed, you're part of that company, and that company's in business to make money. And there's been stories when famous musicians, famous artists would get sick, but yet the show's already booked, the money's spent into the show. Now we just get that money back. You better get your ass out there and perform, no matter what you got to do to get through it. The difference is, a lot of us, with day jobs, you kind of work when you're not feeling too well. But you see, you're not on the spotlight. So if you're dragging a little bit and you're not all happy and, real nice to everybody, that's kind of acceptable, especially if you work in construction or you drive or whatever. As long as you get through it and you're coherent to get the job done. But as an entertainer, you got to always be on. You got to look your best. It's expected of you. You're superhuman. And I'll tell you what, man, that could really wear a person down. Nobody is superhuman. Oh, when I released my album, I did it for fun and with with no desire of making millions or becoming famous. I just wanted to play YouTube. This for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whenever I want to. This right here at Metal X, you have nailed it. And rock on, Rock on to you, buddy, because this is the age where if you don't feel good, this is what's great about having a home studio. If you don't feel good that day, well, then you don't have to record that day. But if you go back in the old days, you paid for that studio time, and you're sick, you're gonna lose that money. So guess what? You got the flu. I mean, we're all human, right? And now try to shred when you got the flu. Not it won't come out the same. So being able to turn it on and turn it off at your convenience is great, man. It really is. And I've been very fortunate and very blessed to be able to make a living as a professional musician. And of course I do other things too to supplement my income because I'm telling you, man, maybe it's just me and maybe it hasn't happened to anybody out there, and that's fine. Kudos to you. But I've seen some shady things out there that I could see, man. This boat's not going to be floating very long. And I am not going to be stuck there going down with everyone else. No way. No way. You know. It's sometimes a little bit horrible how sometimes these people will treat musicians. Not all of them. You got good people, but the bad people, boy, they will disrespect you, talk to you like you're a dog. The kid that gets the French fries at McDonald's will get more respect than you. And that's where I draw the line right there. But yeah, I want. Yep. So yeah, Metal X. Man. That is it. That's it right there. That is it. You know. Yeah, that's great. Definitely deserves a thumbs up. Write a song about Trump. Here's what's interesting. I always stay away from everything political and religion. I'll just see if somebody asks me what my beliefs. I'll tell them. But people are more than welcome to say and do whatever they want to say and do. But I've actually played at Trump Towers, downtown Chicago, and it was a corporate event, and I remember we're there. There's a place called Rebar, and everyone's walking around, and there's a difference between rich people and wealthy people. These are wealthy people, and they got silk suits on, and the majority of older people who are very, very well-to-do, very wealthy, you would be surprised how you could talk to these people, and they'll talk to you. They won't talk down to you. Because, see, these are the people that probably dropped out of high school, had an idea, and had to work their ass off. And because the niche that they were working on was a need and not a want, boom, they're in business. Like, okay, 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I think it was 2 college students. They just, they had to pick up garbage or something, clean up the area, make a couple extra bucks while they go to college and that. And then they said, hey, we noticed that we drive around in these areas, nobody who wants to pick up garbage, right? No one does. But guess what? You go in that business, my friends, you will always have money. You will always be in business because there's always be someone that does not want to pick that up. And guess what? Boom, you're making big time bucks because that's one thing that will not go away. This will go like this, like this. And now they're millionaires. So now when they go to Guitar Center, they could buy they could buy 5 of them if they want. You know what I mean? It's so weird. It's so weird seeing everything flip kind of like upside down, but it's a fact. It is a fact. But yeah, I know people have their opinions, but I mean, from what I've seen all types of people working, downtown Trump Towers, downtown Chicago, and every person we talked to, they don't have any problem. They liked it, So it's crazy. We live in a crazy world, right? But that's why we got guitars. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's see. Playing for fun or go viral. About for you know what? You could pick your nose. The next thing you're going viral. But I mean, it's cool. Okay. Yeah. American Devil, laugh out loud. Yeah. Medex, I sure wouldn't mind it. Yeah, it's a great experience. I could tell you a little bit of what it feels like when people come up to you and they ask you for your autograph, or you do your sign in your CDs. Or the let's see, one of the kind of odd things to me is we did a show for the Kentucky Derby, right? And we're in Louisville, Kentucky, and so we're on top of this on this building on the rooftop, and they said there's gonna be all these celebrities there, and we figure, okay, what's the Kentucky Derby? I mean, we don't know that much about it, so we figure, okay, the mayor of the town. We've met a lot of officials, mayor of this town, mayor of that town, this official, that official, and all nice people. So that's what we figure it was. Well, we're up on the rooftop, and the door opens, and my wife, she's running the sound, and she's taking pictures. I'm playing kind of flamenco style, but like flamenco rock. Like Rodrigo y Gabriela, that style, right? So I'm playing that. The door opens, and there's a sheriff, and then, oh no, the door opens first, and there's all these ladies dressed very scandalously, I thought these were call girls, and then behind was like a sheriff. I thought, oh, I look at that, and I'm like, hey, I hope this is not some kind of a freaky deaky party and there's something illegal going on. I don't want to get arrested. I mean, that's all we need. Dave and Deb Byron gets arrested in Louisville because it turned out to be a stripper or some, I don't know, some crap. Well, I got nervous for no reason because it was the swimsuit models from Sports Illustrated. And Deb took a couple pictures, and it's a picture of me, and Kate Upton was the swimsuit model of the year. I got my picture with Kate. And then we got invited to the VIP party downstairs. Well, now, I don't follow sports that much. But we go downstairs. There's literally everybody from ESPN, a guy that sometimes is a guest on CNBC, and you got all these sports celebrities. And I recognize the faces a little bit, but I didn't, forget the names. I feel, I want to call, hey, Ernie Banks. Well, this guy is so-and-so from this football team, Oh, sorry about that guy, But it was so weird because some of these people, they also play guitar. And the thing that was so weird for me is when they started asking me questions, how do you develop your technique? As if I got these sports stars asking me as if I'm the star. And it was the weirdest feeling I have ever had in my life. Another interesting gig we did, and we got pictures. I think that might have it on our website. The owner of the Indiana Colts. Well, we did this gig, and it's on this private residence, and we pull up, and there's like a castle, big ass house here, and there's another big house, kind of like what would be the groundkeeper's house, I guess. But inside there is this huge basketball court, and they had me set up. And I'm playing, it was like a fundraiser gig. And I'm set up, and there's this huge marble plaque, one of the Super Bowls. And it was whenever the Colts won, I apologize, guys, not knowing. I'm sitting there, and I'm playing, and there's the older guy talking with me. And he got some good picking fingers there. Boy, that's not, you sound real nice, Well, thank you. And we took a picture. I think I took a picture with him and that. Had no clue who this guy was. He leaves and he's, greeting the rest of his guests and thanking people coming out for this fundraiser. And another guy comes up to me and says, hey, do you know who that guy is? I says, no. I says, he's a nice guy. That's the owner of the Indiana Colts. I says, really? I said, oh, that's cool. And it's so weird. And I think what happens is they kind of see that maybe I don't recognize them. So therefore, I'm not like, starstruck and say, oh, can I have your autograph and a gazillion pictures? Oh, please, please, please. They just see that I'm greeting them just like a regular human being, and I'm thanking them and being polite. And next, they're having conversations with me, and I don't know who the hell these people are because I don't, follow the sports. And it is the most weirdest feeling. Another thing, and I don't mean to be blabbing, this is not bragging on it, but these are just things that I actually experienced it. Oh, Max. Music, dude. Oh, thank you so much. You sure can shred, yeah. Oh, well, thank you, man. It's, yeah. Well, I think that's absolute mayhem saying that metal. No, that metal definitely sounds great. Um. Oh, the time we played up in Minnesota, and we had to hurry up because we had another gig we had to go to, so I had to tear down the equipment. I could not hang around, but we do this gig, and the guy, the head of security, asked me, "Hey, you want to meet Ringo Starr?" Because Ringo Starr happened to be playing right inside the theater. We were playing in this huge banquet room, a huge ballroom, and then down the hall was the theater. And I had to turn it down because we were paid in full to do this other gig. We had to drive down to Indiana from Minnesota all the way down to Indiana. And I remember telling, because I was joking with them and said, well, I'm Ringo Starr, because they thought I was Ringo Starr's guitarist. And I said, well, no, but tell Ringo that Gringo says hi, and I know that guy probably told him that because they were just getting a kick out of it. But I had to turn some of these down because this is how it really is. When you're a working musician, especially if you're paid in full, hey, you got to get that job done. Then later on, you could chase the stars. But if I would have had an opportunity to meet Ringo, I probably would. My wife says, Dave, knowing you probably would have. Mr. Ringo Starr, how you doing? My name's Gringo, I don't care, I mean, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I guess what it is, you come to a point in life that you realize how short life really is and how insignificant we really are compared to the big picture. And you start looking at things that, I'm out there gigging, he's out there gigging. It's like, when I was doing HVAC, I didn't go up to every builder and say, can I have your autograph? No, we're out there to get the job done. You're out there to get the job done. That's what it is. And hopefully you can inspire people, And it's a great feeling, don't get me wrong. The thing that really, really inspires me the most, I mean, it's fun meeting famous people, but it's actually more funner when you look at people that are just regular working class people that look up to you. And especially if there's kids that look up to you. Man, I'll tell you what, nothing can beat that feeling. Nothing at all. I mean, Al DiMeola is my favorite guitarist. But I'll tell you what, if there's some kid that's 9 years old, 11 years old, looking up to me with big, I'm going to say, Al, you're a big inspiration. But I would like to talk with this young kid because he's looking up to me. I've become an inspiration to him, and man, it's a huge honor, and I never want to ever misuse the gift that I have, and I'm not better than anybody, but at the same time, I definitely want to sub to Metal X, yeah. No, absolutely, my friends. You know what? Metal X, you're a great guy. I loved watching what you were doing, man. Just plugging in and playing. And this is what's so great about this platform. Because look how fast a person's channel could grow simply by just communicating with each other. Okay, now Absolute Mayhem. Awesome. Yeah, he's got that Paul Gilbert model. Yeah. Metal X, what is the black and silver guitar you have? Guitar. Yeah. Yeah, he's got that Ibanez. Canadian metal band, Sean Zimmer. Yeah. He had a hard time cracking USA market in the late 80s. And yeah, because radio, that's right. And that's so sad. There used to be a magazine I used to get at the Borders bookstore. BWBK, I think it's Bloody Words, Bare Knuckles, or something like that. And it would have a free a CD in there. A lot of them, I'm pretty sure that they were based out of Canada. And man, you got some great Canadian bands out there, man. Great, of all genres, So, it's we live in a very interesting world, very interesting times. Let's see. I've got some instrumental tunes, but never thought of posting them. You know what, Guitar Hack? Here's the deal. When you think that your stuff is not good enough, that's when it probably is better than you realize it. because the reality is you're never going to please everybody all the time. You will pull your hair out of your head, um, and get real discouraged, um, if you let any type of a negative affect you. You know what I mean? And there's nothing worse, in my opinion, than you look up to a person, or you look up to, let's say, a company that says they can help you, they'll critique you. And there's nothing wrong with having your stuff, constructive criticism that helps build us up. But when you start paying all this money into these so-called plans that they're going to help you out, and they're helping you out by keeping you helping them out, if that makes sense. Now, again, there is absolutely, if someone's got the credentials, but here's how you can tell when people are legit, especially with this platform. Especially with this platform. Don't you think that if these people really have all these connections, and I'm not knocking them, people use money to help build their show or their business so they could turn around and maybe help everybody out there. But I find it very, very strange that with this platform, if a person is really sincere in helping all of you out there, why don't they say, I'll tell you what, if you pay for my service, okay, and you know I'm out there playing, and I could talk with this person and that person, and nobody's in business to put themselves out of business, but you are one person or one band, you're one entity. You could only play at one place physically at a time, unless you post it live, but that's virtual reality. So the reality is you can only play at one place physically, one place at a time. And if you got those good connections and you're in good with those people, and they'll say, you know what, so and so, I can't make this, next week or next week, and I can't, but I know of a band that is good, and they're good. They're not only a good band, but they're good people. They're easy to work with, and they'll respect you. Maybe want to give them a fair shot because I think they're good, and I want to help them out and things of that nature. Not only are you helping that owner, a good club owner or promoter, a good person that's fair, that will want to work with you, but you're helping these other people out that now, if you always get the backstabbers, but minus those people, the good people, you will be doing a much better service. And like Ben Coons, I agree with you. Karma, my friend, karma. I don't care who you are, what your claim to fame is. Everyone, we all live on good old terra firma, planet Earth. And what goes around eventually comes around, my friends, no matter what. So I really do believe in the fairness. So these people that they make these great claims, put your money where your mouth is, or put my money where your mouth is, since I'm paying you. I had this happen to a friend of mine. I know I mentioned this, but for some people who are just tuning in, this may be the first time they're going to hear something like this. Good friend of mine. He's a great guitar player. He's also a great painter and drawer. Yeah. He got real discouraged. He paid a lady that claimed to be a promoter, and then she was, a promoter, and then she's a publicist, and then she's this, and then she's that, and she's got all the connections, right? And it cost him $3,000. I think he gave her $1,500 first, and then maybe 3 weeks after that, he wrote her another check, $1,500, and the deal was, he's a soloist like myself. We're using looping and backing tracks, and after she got his $1,500, and she knew what she was doing, okay, so nothing was mentioned until after he got the other $1,500. I'm almost positive this is how, and it was a $3,000. So she gets the money, and now time's elapsing, and he's got his tunes together. He's got his show set, rock solid. Great guitar player, great performer. He sings a little too. He's got a good voice. He could do it. Now all of a sudden, it's like going to having some job agency, getting you a job. Like all of a sudden, time's gone by, and now she wants, I think, another $500, whatever. He's like, wait a minute. How about the money I just gave you? And here's everything I have. Right then and there, she tells him, oh, no one wants to hear a soloist. You're not going to make any money. He says, well, my friend Dave Byron, he's doing this. Oh, no one is going to want to hire you. No one's going to want to hear you. Yeah, but she took $3,000 of his money, and then she's got to wait till then. How about being up front right there? It says, you know what, Mr. So-and-so, I don't know if this is going to work, but man, I'd like to get that $3,000, wouldn't I? Put it in my pocket, out the door, and I open up shop across town under a different name, right? That's what's going on out there. And I don't mean to discourage people. So my poor friend got suckered, conned out of $3,000. The lady didn't do jack diddly squat for him, except take $3,000 and give him fairy tales, stories. So I'm sorry. For me personally, if I have to stay how I'm doing this, that's fine. That's fine, because man, there's nothing worse than you feel like, chump of the year, and it's not his fault. These people, they play the part very good. They play it real good, and even some of these people, they got credentials. But if they're really that well off, it's one of two things. They're sincere in helping people. But if they're sincere in helping people, how come they ain't saying, hey guys, I'm gonna, even if it's, a couple measures of your song, I'm gonna spotlight it on my live chat, or I'm gonna go live, or I'm gonna play at this place. I got a conference at this place. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna play it, so these people could hear your stuff, because you're paying me to do you a service. How about that? No, I want to run out there and I want to meet this person and meet that person and talk with that guy. Nothing about the people that's giving you money. I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in that. It's sad what I see out there, and I see it out there, and I don't really see people talking about it. Now some people might say to me, Dave, you could be shooting yourself in your own foot. I don't care. I've been to so much of this crap that to me, I just, I want to see good people win out there, because you're good people, it is heartbreaking. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now again, let's see, guitar. I've got something. Yeah. Maybe you should. And actually, yeah, like Ben says, go for it. The things that I say is never meant for a person to be discouraged not to try it. Go ahead and if you got the money and you want to try it, absolutely. Because you know what, guys, there is good people out there, and those good people, they suffer from some of the scams that goes out there, and that's really sad, because there really is good people out there. There really is, let's see, what was one that we sent something to, and it doesn't bother me if they don't like what I do. That's fine. That's not the issue. The issue I have is when they play these games with me, and I could tell like almost instantly